Hollywood sells perfection, but the bill comes due when you tell the truth. Tonight on Silent Fame, we count down 8 gay stars who lost everything after coming out. Careers iced, auditions ghosted, brand risk emails, and the silence after one brave sentence. Some were forced into the light, some walked there on purpose, but all chose pride over pretense. As we go, drop their number when a story hits home, tell us where you're watching from, and subscribe to keep queer courage in your feed. Ready to see what honesty really costs in Hollywood? Let's begin. 1. Cody Fern. Cody Fern walked onto our screens like a secret you're not supposed to enjoy. Angles carved in ice, voice like velvet smoke. American Crime Story, American Horror Story. 2 lightning bolts, and suddenly every column is whispering next leading man. Then he did the un-Hollywood thing. He refused the costume. Gender-fluid suits, painted nails that wink on the carpet, words that say, "I'm not your box office straight fantasy, I'm me." The industry smiled, then tightened. Big budget doors creaked, then clicked. The Marvel-sized calls never came. The rom-com scripts for America's Boyfriend evaporated, as if a daring silhouette could break a lens. Fans built a cathedral for him online. Edits, essays, threads that name him patron saint of refusing shame. They celebrate how his queerness isn't seasoning, it's the meal. But behind the fanfare is a ledger. Projects that almost happened, roles that stalled in finance, executives who love him at the table but not on the poster. He didn't just lose jobs, he lost the performance of safety that lets some men climb. And still, he does not bend. He treats visibility like an art form, a glare, a grin, a gown that slices the room into before and after. He knows what he's doing. He knows the toll. The courage is not in pretending it doesn't hurt. It's in walking through the hurt with a camera on. There's a question humming under Cody's every entrance. How free can beauty be before commerce puts it on a leash? His answer is a living thesis. No manifesto, just choices, one after another, that say, "I exist." If the price of that is a quieter phone, he's paid it. If the prize is a generation who sees themselves and breathes easier, we've won. Sound off. Was Cody punished for honesty or crowned by it? Drop a 1 if you think his refusal to shrink will outlast every franchise that passed. 2. Colton Haynes. Colton Haynes was Hollywood's teenage dream. The handsome heartthrob starring on hit shows like Teen Wolf and Arrow, adored by millions of fans. With his piercing blue eyes and sculpted look, he seemed destined for A-list stardom. But behind the scenes, he carried a secret that industry insiders had quietly warned could cost him everything. In 2016, Haynes finally decided to speak his truth, coming out as gay in an interview with Entertainment Weekly. In that moment, the narrative of his career was forever changed. The fallout was immediate and painful. Projects and auditions that once lined up for Haynes suddenly dried up. Casting agents who had once seen him as a leading man began to hesitate. As he later admitted, after coming out, the work mostly dried up. The same roles he had won by beating out straight guys to play straight roles were now gone. Hollywood's gatekeepers told him he was too famous for being gay, and he found himself considered only for rare gay-specific parts. Fans were stunned, and online, communities rallied in support, but the industry largely moved on. By 2025, Colton Haynes was no longer the teen idol headlining primetime TV. Instead, he used his platform to shine a light on Hollywood's mixed messages about LGBTQ stars. His story is a tragic reminder of the cost of authenticity in an industry still clinging to old fantasies. So, what do you think? Did Colton Haynes pay too high a price for telling the truth? Or did he courageously choose himself over fame? Drop a 2 in the comments if you think his story is one of the most striking examples of beauty and truth coming at a cost. 3. Matthew Camp. Matthew Camp always read like a casting director's fever dream. Carved physique, ink like armor, eyes that dared you to look twice. He came up through nightlife, fog machines, bodies in motion, the kind of stage where truth doesn't whisper, it roars. When indie films started calling, managers urged a makeover. Scrub the club kid, mute the sexuality, sell him as a dangerous straight. Matthew refused. No beard, no euphemisms, no closets with designer locks. In a town that worships illusion, he walked in with fluorescent honesty and watched the temperature drop. Meetings got rescheduled, auditions went another way, and polite emails arrived like funeral cards for a career that hadn't even lived yet. He heard the coded notes. Brand risk, too specific, not relatable. Translation, too gay to sell to middle America, too proud to pretend otherwise. Online, the war was louder. One camp crowned him a queer folk hero, proof that a man can keep his soul and still be sexy. The other called him reckless, self-limiting, the architect of his own exile. Matthew stayed unmoved. He doubled down on community, art houses, queer festivals, small sets with big hearts. Paychecks got thinner, but the work got truer. Private bruises, plenty. He talks about them with a half smile like a boxer counting teeth. But there's a steadiness now, an understanding that mainstream fame is not the same as legacy. Did he lose everything? Maybe he lost the red carpet escalator, agents waving from the top. What he gained is harder to measure. Young men writing to say his candor kept them alive. Directors who cast him because of his truth, not despite it. A body of work that doesn't flinch. The myth says only blockbusters matter. The man says otherwise. Your turn. Is Matthew a cautionary tale or a compass pointing due north? Drop a 3 if you think choosing yourself, loudly, visibly, beats any studio fairy tale. 4. Thomas Dekker. Thomas Dekker's rise had a studio sheen. Heroes glow, Sarah Connor chronicles grit, the kind of face that could sell either a kiss or a cliffhanger. He knew the calculus. Keep it vague, let magazines speculate, let executives sleep easy. Then, 2017 happened. His name spoken on a stage he didn't choose. His privacy detonated mid-speech by a producer arguing for visibility. Outed publicly, he wrestled the mic back with one sentence online. Yes, I'm gay. An attempt to reclaim a story already scattering in 1,000 headlines. The aftermath felt like a slow leak. Not a spectacle, just silence. Meetings that once brimmed with possibility turned into kind nods and exits. Forced visibility is a theft twice over. It steals the moment and then taxes the career. Dekker paid both. Some viewers insisted his momentum was already waning. Perhaps. But it's telling how fast a leading man lane becomes a shoulder when the truth is no longer deniable. What hurts most isn't the loss of fame, it's the loss of authorship. In interviews and posts, you can read the ache between lines. A man measuring who he might have been if the door had opened on his own turn of the knob. And yet, Thomas refuses to be only a wound. He works where he's wanted. Smaller sets, sharper scripts, communities that don't flinch. He mentors, he writes. He refuses the bitterness that would be easy to wear. The boy wonder grew up, not into the franchise prince the trades predicted, but into a craftsman who knows the value of quiet rooms and uncompromised frames. Join the debate. Should Hollywood have rallied to give him the second act he earned? Drop a 4 if you believe taking back your narrative shouldn't cost you the road ahead. 5. Lucas Cruikshank. Before influencers were a job title, there was Fred. Helium high voice, chaos in a t-shirt. A teenage comet named Lucas Cruikshank steering the internet with a webcam. Nickelodeon called. Movies followed. He was the friendly face for nervous parents. The bubble-wrapped wildcard who felt safe at birthday parties. And then, in 2013, without spectacle or PR choreography, Lucas sat down and told the truth. I'm gay. No dramatic score, just a kid refusing to carry an adult's lie. The celebration online was real, but so was the chill in the boardrooms. Family brands love rainbows in June, not in children's IP. Meetings slowed. The Fred machine sputtered. Scripts quieted. Some critics shrug. Every viral wave crashes. But talk to people who were there. They'll tell you the temperature shifted overnight. The boy next door became a question mark for advertisers. Could he still sell lunchboxes to middle America? Could he be both safe and honest? He had been both all along. The industry simply struggled to hold those truths at once. Lucas pivoted. He built a career on transparency, comedy with grown-up edges, collaborations, podcasts. Not the rocket ship they promised, but a steadier orbit. He pilots himself. Here's what Lost Everything looks like up close. A lane that narrows when it should have widened. A brand you invented deciding you no longer fit inside it. Yet Lucas's legacy expands in other ways. Older now, he hears from kids who found courage because his confession felt normal, not newsworthy. He helped plant that idea in a space that rarely lets queer people plant anything. Hollywood's memory is short, the internet's memory is longer. Somewhere, a teen still finds that video and exhales. Weigh in? Was Lucas destined to fade? Or did honesty move the goalposts on him mid-game? Drop a 3 if you believe the industry owed him a softer landing for telling the truth. 6. Jake Borelli on Grey's Anatomy. Jake Borelli's Levi Schmidt arrived with the soft power so many underestimate. Awkward, earnest, heart first. When Levi fell for another man on primetime, Borelli stepped into the light with him, posting that he too is gay. For countless viewers, the convergence felt holy. Story and reality holding hands. For the industry, it felt inconvenient. Overnight, the versatile young actor became the gay doctor. Casting imaginations shrank. Romantic leads across from women? Fewer. Auditions that should have been slam dunks morphed into, we're going in a different direction. Diversity sells until it must be risked. Jake didn't retreat. He talked about the kid he once was, scanning TV for a reflection that never appeared. He decided to be that reflection, even if it meant fewer shiny yeses. Inside the machine, that choice reads expensive. Outside, it reads historic. Fans catalog the impact in messages and tears. Executives catalog it in spreadsheets. One day, those ledgers will agree. In the meantime, Jake builds a body of work with patience and intention, stewarding a character who matters and a career that refuses shame. His courage isn't loud, it's consistent, showing up to set with the same warmth that made Levi irresistible and the same backbone that made Jake unshakable. If he lost everything, it's everything the old system promised: fast tracks, easy labels, the fiction that straightness is neutral and queerness is niche. What he gained is a footprint that will outlast the Nielsen week. A generation of young viewers who learned that tenderness can be heroic and truth can be steady as a pulse. Tell us, was Jake too brave for the times or exactly on time for the world that's coming? Drop a 6 if his leap made you feel seen or made you demand more from the gatekeepers. 7. Lance Bass. Lance Bass rose to international fame as the shy, talented bass singer of NSYNC, one of the late 90s biggest boy bands. His upbeat choreography and hits like Bye 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 made him a teen idol. But in 2006, years after NSYNC's peak, Bass revealed what he had long kept secret. He was gay. He came out on the cover of People magazine with a radiant smile, but behind that confidence lay a nightmare. Almost immediately, Hollywood reacted brutally. A network TV pilot he was set to star in for the CW was suddenly canceled once news of his sexuality became public. Bass later explained, "We were about to shoot the pilot, and the CWs were like, 'We can't do the show anymore. They have to believe you're straight to play a straight character.'" In interviews, he said it plainly. Once he came out, "I lost everything." Agents and casting directors who had once courted him vanished. He was told he was too famous for being gay, no longer seen as capable of playing normal roles. In his own words, it was definitely a career killer. For a time, Lance had to completely restart and rebrand his life and career. Though he eventually found new paths, hosted shows, stage roles, and became an LGBTQ advocate, the episode stands as a stark example of the risks one star faced for simply being honest about who he is. So, what about you? Did Lance Bass pay the ultimate price for coming out? Or has he turned it around as an example of resilience? Drop an 7 in the comments if you think his story proves Hollywood still struggles with authenticity, or that his honesty was worth the cost. 8. Ellen DeGeneres. In the mid-1990s, Ellen DeGeneres was one of America's fastest rising comedy stars. Her sitcom Ellen was a smash hit, and she had won hearts with her witty, observational humor. But Ellen's life changed forever in April 1997 when she publicly came out as a lesbian, both on the cover of Time magazine and in a landmark episode of her own show. That brave confession made her an icon for LGBTQ visibility almost overnight. It also shattered the illusion that Hollywood's dream factory could tolerate its biggest heartthrobs suddenly breaking the mold. Within months, the backlash hit. Sponsors pulled out, ratings began to fall, and before long, Ellen was canceled, officially the following May, despite its earlier success. DeGeneres herself says she was the punchline of lots of jokes after coming out. She hit rock bottom with no work and out of money, unsure if her career would survive. For years, she was largely absent from the spotlight, struggling with depression and insecurity. It wasn't until 2003 that Ellen managed a return, launching her daytime talk show, but the scars of that first outing remained. Her story showed an entire generation how Hollywood punished honesty, a cautionary tale about what happens when a star dares to rewrite her own narrative. So, what do you think? Was Ellen's 1997 coming out a courageous breakthrough or an avoidable misstep? Drop a 8 in the comments if you think her experience reflects bravery, injustice, or how far we've come or haven't on LGBTQ acceptance. 8 names, 8 shocks to the system, and one pattern Hollywood can't keep hiding. When you tell the truth, the machine tests your worth. Did these stars lose everything? Or did they trade a fragile fantasy for something unbreakable? That's your debate. Now it's your turn. Which story stunned you most? Which loss felt unforgivable? And which comeback gave you hope? Drop their number below, add your take, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. If you believe visibility matters more than manufactured myths, hit subscribe and ring the bell. Silent Fame returns every week to uncover the secrets, scars, and small miracles that shape queer history on and off the screen. Stay loud, stay kind, and remember, in a town built on masks, authenticity is the bravest role of all.